What's up, everybody? Today we're talking about what the locals are saying about the Finger Lakes. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. Welcome back to the channel. My name's Anthony. It's my partner Avery, and we are American Home Team. Guys, if you haven't already, be sure to hit that subscribe button and that notification bell so you're notified every Tuesday and Thursday that we release a new video. 1000%, guys. And we are licensed realtors here in upstate New York. And that means as much we love making these videos for you guys, we would love even more to help you with your real estate needs. So whether you're looking to make a move in 9 days or 90 days, we would love to be the team of choice to help you with those needs. Reach out to the phone number, the email on the screen. We are the guys that answer those texts, phone calls, and emails. We would love to hear from you. And without further ado, today we're discussing what the locals are saying about the Finger Lakes region.
Yeah, guys, so obviously we are two locals of the Finger Lakes region, and this is not just about what we are saying about it. This is about what basically everybody who is from here and lives here is talking about, right? So moving right into it, we're talking about the natural scenery and the beauty and the outdoor activities that are involved with all of that.
Yeah, 100%. And so we talk about this in a lot of our videos about things to do and the beauty of the Finger Lakes and the scenery and things of that nature. But when you live here, you actually do travel 12 minutes down the road just to go get a site, you know? Like there's right on Route 33 down in Naples, you can overlook all of Canandaigua Lake. There are places that you can take a short drive and look over the city of Rochester, or look over the Genesee River, or look over Cayuga Lake, right? So in the Finger Lakes, this is literally one of the coolest things that we can do is just travel a short little car ride and look at some waterfalls, look at the lake, look at the city, and have a good time with that. Sometimes, I mean, people go out there, we've discussed it in a video before, go out there and have a little date out of it.
Yep. Yeah, you can definitely go and set up picnics and stuff, and you know, it really makes people feel like they're one with nature and with the area that they're living in, the Finger Lakes, right? So you go and you drive, you see these overlooks, right? And you're overlooking the lake, and you can set up a picnic there like we just mentioned, or you know, just go hang out. And if you want to be inspired, right, and kind of feel like you're small as a human, which we are, you can just go do that. You can go to one of these overlook the lake, really see how big even the small lakes are, and really just go and enjoy yourself. Have a nice little meal or something with the wife or husband or what have you, and then the outdoor activities with that scenery. Sometimes you're gonna have to hike to some of those scenes.
Yeah.
So I know not necessarily the Finger Lakes, but up in Sodas Point, right? Mm-hmm. You can go out on the Chimney Bluffs, and you have incredible views, but you have to hike there a little bit. You have Ononda Park. You're gonna go and you're gonna hike, and you're gonna get views of the waterfalls and things like that. Yeah. Watkins Glen, same thing, right? Mm-hmm. So there's amazing outdoor activities that you're going to get these views, and you're really gonna get the, I guess, the sense of one with the nature in the Finger Lakes region.
Yeah, for sure. It's you know, it's always a good time just going out and being one with nature and whatnot. But this is something that locals actually do. You know, if you live here in the Finger Lakes, you're gonna want to get outside. You're gonna want to go and experience some of these, you know, some of the sightseeing. And oh, by the way, like we said in many other videos, we have the wineries, right? A lot of those wineries are positioned strategically over the lakes.
Yeah.
So you go out to Cayuga Lake, Seneca Lake, Cayuga Lake, right? A lot of them are on these big farms that are way up that look over the lake, which is really, really cool.
And he said, like, this is what locals actually do. It really is.
Yeah.
We've been to, and I'm sure you've been to many areas throughout the country where there's certain things that maybe just tourists do, right? That involve scenery or scenic views, right? In the Finger Lakes, it's for not only tourists, but it's for the locals too. We actually go out and enjoy these things in real life every single day with our families, with our friends, and it's just a good time. You can't beat it.
Yeah, and we discuss it all the time too. You know, one of the downsides about the Finger Lakes is the lack of nightlife that you would consider the nightlife in like metropolitan cities like New York City or Atlanta or Tampa or whatever. We don't have that here. We have the sightseeing, we have the breweries, the wineries, that kind of thing. It's very low key and laid back and more oneness with nature. And
in fact, actually, our parents tell a story, right, of going out in Naples. There's a hike called High Tor, and High Tor is a wildlife refuge. And the first, what is it? Maybe half a mile or so is almost like a straight up incline. And our parents, when they were in school, they used to go, and that's where they would throw their parties. They would hike up this giant hill, and there's a big open field up there, and that's where they would have the parties. Thankfully, kids are a little bit smarter than that now, and because there's cliffs and it was dangerous, I guess. So kids are smarter than that now, thankfully. But you know, it was their way of enjoying their time with their friends and being outside while doing it.
All right, guys, and moving on. The Finger Lakes is a very tight-knit community. There's a lot to do in the area, you know, outside of the nightlife and the clubs and things like that, like we're discussing before. You can go and you can get with your friends, you can get with your family, and or clients, business professionals, whoever, and always find something to do, right? Whether it's boating on the lakes, going and bowling, right? Because like there's Roseland Bowl, there's a whole bunch of other bowling lanes that you can go to, or
golfing.
There's a Top Golf, you know, not too far away. What is it, Henrietta maybe? Or Buffalo.
I think
it's
Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo.
So it's still an hour and a half, not even away. So
but there, you know, bars, breweries, wineries. What else? Golf courses. There's a plethora of golf courses around here.
Super nice too. And in fact, what is it? Oak Hill is a PGA golf course. So you got professional golfers that come out here and they golf. And in fact, you know, a lot of the Buffalo Bills will travel from Buffalo to the Rochester area just to golf, and they spend a lot of time on these courses because they're so well maintained and manicured, and they're just beautiful courses with the rolling hills, and definitely a good time to go out there with your friends and, you know, meet some good people, maybe have a business meeting out there or something like that. So,
and one of the cool things about the golf courses around here is that some of them are affiliated with apartment complexes or townhomes. And so there's a couple just in like Canandaigua, Farmington, that are affiliated with complexes. And the residents of that complex actually get a discount to the golf course.
Sometimes it's free.
And sometimes it's free. When we got out of the Marine Corps, we rented for a little while, and we got access to the golf course that was right next door. And so we would go and golf. We're not golfers. We suck at golfing. But it's fun to suck sometimes.
We like to just go whack the hell out of the ball. And
smoke a cigar, drink a beer, and golf. But the point is that there's no shortage of things to do. And when you're as tight-knit of a community as we are in the Finger Lakes, it's kind of one of those areas like everybody knows everybody. And not so much where everyone's in your business, but if you're somebody, everybody's going to know you.
Yeah, I mean, despite having the rural setting of the Finger Lakes, right, there's still great opportunity for education and employment and entrepreneurship, right? We have another business outside of this we don't talk about much, but there's great opportunities for running your own businesses or going to a great college, right? So the Finger Lakes is central to many of the larger cities in New York State. So Syracuse, Buffalo, Albany, right? Even New York City. So you're just a short drive to any of those cities. And then you got some Ivy League colleges here in New York as well. And so you have a huge plethora of universities that you can go to that I mean, some community colleges, you're not going to break the bank, right? If you're on a budget, or you don't know what you want to do and you're questioning it or whatever, and you can go to one of them. Or there's major universities here that you can go and spend 50 grand on, you know? We have all of it, right? So expensive to cheap and everything in between. So there's a ton to do. And then employment, we've mentioned it in many other videos. There's great opportunities here. If you go on Indeed or any of your other job boards, right, you're going to find thousands of jobs. So depending on your qualifications, obviously, and who you are as a person, you're probably not going to have an issue finding a job.
Yeah, in the Finger Lakes region specifically, it's more of like manufacturing and small professional services, some blue collar stuff, right? And then
A lot of blue collar
yeah,
stuff.
like construction and cleaning businesses that that we own, and some other things like that. And then you move into the city of Rochester, which is like just on the northern side of the Finger Lakes region, and you get like the healthcare, you get a lot of the business professionals, you get some major communications companies, IT companies, things of that nature. So to Anthony's point, the Finger Lakes is a little more down home, a little more laid back, and smaller scale jobs. But it's only a 20-minute drive to the city of Rochester to get some of those Fortune 500 companies, with the exception of Constellation Brands. That is in more of the southern Finger Lakes area. That's in Canandaigua. That's a Fortune 500, I believe.
Yeah. I think so.
But a lot of those Fortune 500s, the Kodaks, the Xerox, the L3 Harris, right? Those businesses are like Robert Half. Those are out toward the Rochester city region. But like Anthony's saying, there's plenty of job opportunity. You just need to be wise enough to look at some of maybe a couple different job boards, right? Because we are a little more rural, because we're a little more close knit and whatnot, a lot of the small businesses that are great businesses, $1 million businesses, aren't necessarily recruiting on Indeed.
Yeah.
They might be recruiting on LinkedIn. They might be recruiting on ZipRecruiter through Paychecks.
Or through an internal job board, right?
Yep.
So they're looking for other employees to kind of bring in their friends and family or the people that they know. And a lot of these companies figure, like maybe the smaller companies, they figure, hey, if I have a great employee here, and it's likely that they hang out with people that are like them, so they can potentially bring in other people that are like them and do a great job and help us win as well. So
that's a lot like us. I mean, we have a small janitorial business, commercial cleaning business as well. And when we recruit for employees, when we hire, we go strictly to Facebook and Instagram. We have a rather large following on those platforms, and so it's just word of mouth, right? And then in real estate, we have YouTube. You have you guys that call us and email us every single day, which we're extremely grateful for. But also, it's all of our past clients in Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and Twitter, whatever else we're on, that people are calling us. So we consider ourselves like a small business, right? But the small businesses here operate on word of mouth, and then you get kind of into the city of Rochester. And it is a little more of that Indeed. It's the larger job platforms that people like you that are relocating from Montana or wherever are going to be looking and trying to get those jobs.
Yep. And so kind of moving forward, right, we have, I'm going to use Canandaigua, for example, because growing up in Canandaigua is, I think, the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Is a lot of people in the Finger Lakes region will work toward one of the major cities, or maybe right in the outskirts where the manufacturing is or something like that. But they decided to live in Canandaigua or Victor or Geneva or some of these more rural areas, because
it's suburbia.
Yeah, they don't mind the city life for when they're working, but they want to be able to escape, right?
Yeah.
The people who enjoy city life, but maybe not a large scale city life, they're living in the city limits of maybe Canandaigua or Victor or Geneva, right? It's a lot smaller than what Rochester or Syracuse or Buffalo is.
Right.
So you don't hear the sirens all the time. You don't hear the ambulance. You don't hear police, and you don't hear other car traffic and things like that, right? It's a lot quieter, a lot more down home, and it's just a smaller scale. So locals like us love it because there are places that you can go and escape the hustle and bustle.
Yeah.
You can get out and just relax with your family without a ton of noise around you. In fact, we're at Avery's house right now, and if you go outside, it's like perfectly quiet.
Yeah.
You could hear a pin drop or something. So that's what we love about the area, and most locals live here primarily for that reason.
Yeah, and the locals will tell you that they are very prideful about their area of the Finger Lakes. Whether it's Keuka, Canandaigua, Cayuga, Honeoye, they're super prideful of their sector of the Finger Lakes. And it's not to say that one area is better than the other, whatever. It's
There's
just
no like turf wars or anything,
no,
right?
they just love their area of peace, right? Wherever they get to escape to, that's what they love. And they will brag about it to everybody when they go and visit Orlando, Florida, right? Or go to Disneyland or something, and they strike up a conversation and say, oh yeah, we're from the Finger Lakes, right? They're talking about their favorite lake wherever they live. They're talking about it, right? We talk about Canandaigua Lake. That's our favorite. That's where we grew up. That's what we know the best. And so when we tell people about where we're from, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I think when you move here, you'll get some of that pride as well. Wherever it is that you live or decide to live, even if it's in like Pittsburgh or Rochester or Greece, right? Like very north, near Lake Ontario. You're going to be very prideful about where you live. You're going to take a lot of stock in it, and ultimately, you are going to love it.
And yeah, I mean, primarily because it's hard to find a place around here that isn't taken care of.
Yeah.
Where the communities don't care about the town or the city, right? It's everybody cares about each other, and everybody cares about the streets that they live on.
Yeah.
So everyone's making sure that they're taking out their trash and not just throwing it in the front yard, right? It's everyone's respectful of their
For
neighbors.
the most part.
Yeah. I mean, you get a majority of people, you know, I'm willing to say 98% of everybody is that way, just like anywhere else that you go, right? But in the Finger Lakes, we take more pride in it because the greenery and the scenery and everything, it looks more beautiful when there isn't trash and when there isn't just garbage and debris everywhere. So people really make sure that they really take care of their stuff, their properties, their land, and you know, it really shows when you come to the area. All right, guys, and last but not least, things that we love, and most of the locals here love about the Finger Lakes area is the food scene, right?
Yeah.
So you got farm to table type food scene where our parents just got, and our sister went half in on getting a cow. So they got a full cow from a local farm, and it's some of the best meat you could ever have, right? If you're into that type of thing, it's amazing.
Or you can go to the local farmer's market and grab whatever you want from the farmer's market. But the food scene and the food culture, when you travel here, when you are just trying to pick out your spot, wherever you're going to plant your roots, you're going to talk to people. And maybe it's at a brewery or a winery, and you're just chatting it up with some random stranger. They're going to tell you about their favorite restaurants. They're going to tell you about where they like to hang out. And a lot of times where they like to hang out is that restaurant that also has a bar situated, like Eddie O'Brien's or a Nick Tahoe's, which is further up into Rochester, or a Nolan's on Canandaigua Lake, right? Or the boathouse on Honeoye Lake, which they've closed, but that was awesome because they would have a deck over the water, and our parents would go out there and have their Bloody Marys, and they would do random Bloody Marys with lobster tail and chicken tenders.
The whole works.
It's right? But
crazy.
like anytime you talk to a local here, they're going to tell you what kind of food they like, right? And a lot of it is that garbage plate we were telling you about before, but they're going to tell you about the restaurants, they're going to tell you about the beer, the wine, what breweries, wineries they like.
The other thing is, don't be surprised if you ask a local their favorite restaurant and they end up saying Wegmans, right?
Yeah.
Wegmans is a supermarket, it's a grocery store here, but it has a food market as well where you can go and sit down and eat, and they make their own food, and it's amazing to go sit down with the family, have kind of a quick meal. It could be a longer meal. They do catering and things like that, but then they also do like the in-store kind of meals where you can sit down in the cafe and eat, and
everything
really good.
Everything from sushi to hot bar food like Chinese food, wings, chicken tenders. They have pizza. They have beer at one of the bars. They have a burger bar with some coffee. Every Wegmans is a little bit different. But to Anthony's point, they do offer a lot. And it just goes to show that the food scene does not stop at restaurants. It doesn't stop at big restaurants, small restaurants, or Wegmans. It's just all over the place. Everyone loves something different about the food culture here. And it's something that they are proud or happy to share with you, like their favorite places to get fat.
Yeah, and you know, I bring up Wegmans because chances are, if you're from anywhere else in the country, you've probably heard of Wegmans somewhere. Primarily because it's in like the top 10 of places to work in the United States. It's the top 5 of all grocery stores in the United States. It's one of the best grocery stores in the world, in our opinion, in our locals' opinions. And it was locally founded.
Yep.
So, people take a lot of pride in Wegmans. And in fact, when you get what people would call the transplanter, right? There's somebody who's relocating or coming in, Wegmans quickly becomes their favorite store as well,
Yep.
right? For all sorts of things, from clothing to food and groceries. So that being said, guys, if there's anything else that you guys want to hear about from two locals, obviously we're the guys here. We born and raised here, lived here for, minus the 4 years that we were in the
24
Marine Corps,
years.
24 years.
Yeah.
So a long enough time to have definite opinions about it. So that being said, guys, just let us know. Reach out in the comments. We love answering to you guys. We love even more when you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you're notified every Tuesday and Thursday that we release a new video.
Yeah, 1,000%. And guys, once again, like Anthony said, we are local realtors here in the area. So if you guys are looking to make a move, right, reach out to that phone number, that email address on the screen, and we would love to respond to your inquiries, your questions, your concerns, your bitches' complaints. We are the guys that answer all of those. So feel free to reach out. We'd love to hear from you. And also, just want to thank our editor, John, for just doing an amazing job. John, say hi. All right. Hope you guys have a fantastic day. We'll see you next time.
See ya.